and welcome. You're watching the News Unlocked, the show that takes you behind the headlines to the real stories that matter. Today, over the next half hour, we'll take a deep dive into an issue that is becoming critical in preserving political democracy. Bengal's killing fields. That's right. Over the last week, West Bengal has seen once again pitched battles being fought in different parts of the state as BJP and Trinamool Congress workers face off ahead of elections next year. We ask today, is political violence simply a part of democracy in Bengal or a very affront to the constitution of this country? We've been seeing the violence on the streets of Kolkata in recent days, but we're going to go behind it and find out the backstory. Let's start, therefore, with this special report filed by our Kolkata correspondents Indrajit Kundu and Manogya Loiwal that track the incidents of violence that are now casting a shadow on Bengal.
On October 4th, 2020, Manish Shukla, a BJP leader in North 24 Parganas district, was shot dead. The Saffron Party claimed that the TMC was behind it.
अब वो रफा दफा करने में जुटी हुई है, उसके सबूतों को मिटाना चाहती है.
The ruling party rejected the allegation. The Trinamool Congress claims that the internal squabble in the BJP is responsible for the murder.
সব ঘটনার পেছনে আপনারা জানেন বিজেপি তারা সব সময় মনে করেন তৃণমূল হচ্ছে তার সঙ্গে।
Four days later, parts of Kolkata and adjoining Howrah turned into a battle zone. BJP workers clashed with the police after they were stopped from marching to the state secretariat to protest against the worsening law and order situation. State and central BJP leaders like Kailash Vijayvargiya, Mukul Roy, Swapan Das Gupta and Tejasvi Surya led the march.
कानून केवल बीजेपी के लिए है और लोकतंत्र बाकी लोगों के लिए है।
बीजेपी কোনো রাজনৈতিক দল না, সন্ত্রাসবাদীদের দল। বাংলার শান্ত পরিবেশকেও নষ্ট করার চেষ্টা করছে।
A day later, a string of BJP leaders, including Kailash Vijayvargiya, Mukul Roy, Loket Chatterjee and 20 others were booked by the Kolkata police for unlawful assembly and destruction of public property. But there was another controversy brewing with religious colorings. Balwinder Singh, who claimed to be a security guard of a BJP leader, was arrested and in the scuffle his turban was pulled. The police accused Balwinder of carrying an illegal weapon and taking part in violence.
मैं तो एक बॉडीगार्ड हूँ, मेरा किसी पार्टी से कोई संबंधित नहीं हूँ, तो मेरे मारा पहले अणुमुखी अधिकार से मेरे को मारा गया.
The BJP accused the police of hurting religious sentiments of the Sikh community by pulling off the turban of Balwinder Singh. The TMC accused the BJP of unnecessarily giving the incident a communal color, when it was a clear case of planned violence.
क्या कोई पार्टी पिस्तौल लेके आंदोलन में आता है? कोई पार्टी बम लेके आता है कोई आंदोलन में? ये तो गुंडागिरी किया. ये बम लेके रिवॉल्वर लेके मीटिंग में आता है और पुलिस के ऊपर पुलिस के खिलाफ ये साजिश करता है.
Election time violence is not new to the political fabric of West Bengal. The assembly elections in the state is a bare 6 months away, and the people in the state know from past experience that the violence and unrest will only increase from here on. At least, that is how it usually is in the state of West Bengal.
So has Bengal now become the hub of political violence? Is violence the new normal in Bengal? Priyanka Tribhural is spokesperson of the BJP in Bengal, and Tausif Khan is a pro-Trinamool Congress voice. Appreciate both of you joining us. Also Shikha Mukherjee, political commentator who's written on Bengal for several years. Thank you all very much for joining us. Let me put that question straight to you. As I look at those images, Priyanka Tribhural, do you believe that
Yes.
violence is the new normal in Bengal?
See, it is not the violence that we are creating, it is the violence that we are facing. And these heinous acts are resulting in deprivation of the rights of liberty of people of Bengal. It is not just the right to liberty, but the right to live and die with dignity. That also people of Bengal are being denied. You see now the people of Bengal, they are left with no hope because the government and the police both have eroded the faith of common people in Bengal.
But ma'am, when I look at the numbers since June, since the lockdown was lifted and since there has been some political activity, there have been activists of the BJP and activists of Trinamool who allegedly have been killed. This is not a one-sided violence anymore.
No, I am sorry, but I can give you the numbers. It is more than 130 people of BJP who have been murdered. Now, what Trinamool does is, our workers are being killed, they are being murdered, but then they land up suddenly saying, no, he was our party worker. That is what they did in the case of Manish Shukla also. They said that, no, Manish was already in TMC. He wanted to come back to TMC. And where there are videos where these TMC leaders are standing in the rally and they are saying that if only Mamata Banerjee allows us, we will teach Manish Shukla a lesson. And less than 15 days, Manish Shukla is murdered. Who is to be questioned?
Tausif, can't you accept that this is a huge embarrassment? You know, the fact is, law and order is a state subject. It is Mamata Banerjee and her government's responsibility to ensure law and order. When we see the kind of scenes that we've seen in Kolkata, and the fact is that BJP workers have suffered far more than your TMC workers. You are the party in power. Don't you concede that the Trinamool Congress today has blood on its hands?
Rajdeep, this is a case of BJP being the troublemaker. BJP is the factory of violence. And why I say that, on 27th of August 2019 in Mechida, Dilip Ghosh, the BJP Bengal chief, said that if you are a true BJP worker, go and beat policemen and Trinamool worker, rest I will take care of. On 19 June 2018 in Jalpaiguri, he said either TMC leaders will go to jail or will be killed in direct encounter. On 6th of September 2020, he said in North Chobis Pargana that TMC leaders will be stripped and beaten with shoes in 2021.
Sir, I am going by the numbers, sir. Sir, I am going by the numbers. These are the BJP's media cell claims 115 BJP workers killed since 2014, 10 killed in the last 80 days, 7 in last 60 days. Assuming that at times these are exaggerated figures. These figures are not corroborated by the NCRB. Let's be very clear. However, there are clear instances, including Manish Shukla, the BJP worker a few days ago, where they are on the receiving end. You cannot deny that. Whether it's Panchayat elections and now in the run-up to Vidhan Sabha, the Trinamool Congress is accused of unleashing a reign of terror.
We all know there is a internal faction in BJP. There are leaders who were earlier with left or with Trinamool who have come to join BJP and now want to come back. And there are cases of personal enmity as well, and for which the Trinamool party cannot be blamed. Let me tell you, BJP makes allegations that TMC workers are resorting to violence. But what did BJP do on 8th of October? In the name of peaceful democratic protest, BJP workers pelted stone and bricks on police personnel. They burned tires. They carried firearms and ran havoc in the city, all in the name of peaceful democratic process. Please protest. Please explain to me in which world does a peaceful democratic protest requires the protesters to attack the police, to run havoc in the city, to bring bombs and firearms in the protest.
Okay. You know, Shikha Mukherjee, the politician. No, 1 minute. Shikha Mukherjee, give us a sense of your sense on the ground. Is this because the assembly elections are now 6 months away that the violence is intensifying? Is this one-sided violence, or is it now two cadres that are coming face to face, not just in Kolkata, but across Bengal?
Well, I think, let me put a little more perspective on this. Political violence in West Bengal is an ongoing story. I mean, for as long as I've been in journalism, and that's over 4 decades, I have seen that there are clashes, inter-party clashes, at whenever there is political tension. Election times obviously are time of political tension and growing tension. The expectation is that there will be an increase in clashes between contending parties. At this particular point in time, one is seeing that there are clashes between the BJP's as the challenger is facing more violence from the ruling regime, perhaps, than being able to deliver counter-violence to
So
offset.
you're saying in a way that this is part of an ongoing culture of political violence. Earlier it was seen as left in power, which was seen to orchestrate the violence against their opponents. Now you're saying that it is Trinamool versus BJP, and because the Trinamool is in power, they are able to use that power in a way to target the BJP workers. Am I broadly correct?
You're broadly correct, and this is a culture of violence which we have been seeing. I mean, if you go back to the fact that Ashok Mitra wrote the book, he recorded part of it in Calcutta Diary, and the rest of it is in the Hoodlum years, where he talked about the early 70s and the kind of political violence that was happening.
Okay.
So this is a state where there is a culture of political violence, but it's very strange that the normalization of violence, which we are seeing now, was different.
How was it different?
In the 70s.
How was it different?
It was different because there was terrible violence in the 70s, but it was different because there were individuals who stood out. There were kind of martyrs and people who made sacrifices, and you knew their names. They became kind of symbols of ideologies, of resistance, of a political culture. But this now has become a different kind of violence where the individuals matter less.
So there's a certain lumpenization which has taken place in a way of the violence.
Yes.
And there is nothing in the violence that has any ideology attached to it. I'll come back to my politicians in a moment. Let's remember, as Shikha suggested, that this is not a new phenomena in Bengal. The left in power resorted, many of its critics say, to the worst form of violence against its critic. Now, how have things changed? Because families caught in the crossfire are the ones affected. For them today, life is a struggle. Manogya Loigwal brings you this ground report.
Last year's political clashes in West Bengal's North 24 Parganas saw a 17-year-old die. More than a year later, Ram Babu Shaw's mother is still struggling to comprehend her son's sudden death.
दुख नहीं देता, नहीं देखते हैं, थोड़ा कमा के खिलाता उलाता था। तो वो बोला ना कि हम आ रही हो तो बना के रखिए, बस सुने कि उसका गोली लग गया।
The puchka or golgappa seller was shot dead in a heated political clash. Now a year later, the family is struggling to make ends meet. Ram Babu's death brought the family some aid from a local BJP MP who donated 4.5 lakh rupees to the family. However, his mother claims they haven't received any help from the TMC government because the Shaw family were seen to be BJP supporters. A similar tale of suffering emanates from the other end of the political divide. In the same month and in the same district of West Bengal, 60-year-old Mohammad Halim too died a victim of political clashes between the BJP and the TMC.
चारों जन बैठे थे, मेरे हस्बैंड, मेरा 2 बच्चा, हम किधर से बम फेंका हम लोग तो कुछ देखे नहीं, उनके तो माथा ही पे लग गया, तो संग संग डेट कर गए। छोटा छिले का आँख का रोशनी चला गया, बड़ा वाला को लग गया।
The family claims they had to leave their locality and shift to Dakshineshwar because of the tension in the area. And despite some help from a local leader, Somnath, Ruby and her sons continue to struggle with their loss.
दंगही के टाइम में ना पार्टी पॉलिसी में झमेला हुआ, होते होते हिंदू मुस्लिम का झमेला हुआ और सीधा साधा आदमी चला गया। हम लोग का तो किसी से दुश्मनी नहीं।
For countless families, the ordeal continues long after the actual death of the victim. The death, an added number in yet another incident of senseless bloodletting. Killings that pass for politics in West Bengal.
Senseless killings is the word that I want to focus on. Priyanka Tibrewal, what is this about? It's simply about grabbing power, isn't it? It's the BJP wants to grab power
No,
at
it
all
is
costs.
not.
There is no ideology left here. Let's be clear.
No.
The cadres
No, it is
today,
not. It is,
according to reports, are simply being paid off. According to the TMC, some of them are coming from outside Bengal.
Like I have told you, I am again mentioning the same, that law and order is a state subject, it's a state machinery, but it has completely failed. They have eroded now, they have shaken the confidence of people. And why so? You know, just a victim mentioned here that the compensation and schemes of the governments are also only provided to families who hail TMC. Now, let me remind the Chief Minister that she is not the leader of an opposition, but she is the Chief Minister of the entire state. So why do they play politics when it is a question of providing compensation and schemes to the people?
Fair
Now,
point, but how do you respond? Fair point, ma'am. Fair point, but how do you respond to the TMC charge that many of the cadres that you are bringing into Bengal at the moment ahead of the election are from outside Bengal? Many of them are well armed. Many of them are coming basically with the idea of inciting trouble. Why is it that during the rally last week in Kolkata, there were bombs that were being thrown? Where were these bombs coming from?
This is an absolute myth which will be proved soon. This murder was planned in Patna, and who had planned this murder, that will also come out soon. So this is a complete myth. And not just that, this has also been mentioned that the weapon which was there in the rally that day is a licensed weapon of a security personnel. They had no right to humiliate somebody on the religious ground. What did they do? The entire nation saw that.
No, that is absolutely shameful, Tawseef. What happened with that?
You do not respect.
Agreed. What happened with that Sikh gentleman is absolutely shameful. Tawseef, at the end of the day, we can accuse the BJP of bringing in their cadres from outside. We can accuse the BJP of inciting trouble in a way. But the fact is, law and order is a state subject. I had the governor of Bengal last week, and he came, he's of course anti-Mamta, came and said it's the chief minister's responsibility. That democracy is on a ventilator, he said, in Bengal. How do you respond?
You see, we all know about the political views of our governor. A governor is supposed to be neutral. He lectures others to be neutral, but perhaps he must also listen to what he is saying. A governor being a constitutional post, he must be neutral, and instead of, repeating one or the other statement of political leaders of central government, BJP, he should rather refrain from making any political comment. He has all constitutional tools present with him. He can ask the chief secretary to come meet him, submit a report. He can do whatever
Sir, but the buck stops with the chief minister.
Means are at his disposal.
Mr. Tawseef Ahmed, the buck stops with the chief minister.
Well, he thinks that a chief minister would be, would do something which is against the people of our own state. Then I think this is only a foolish mentality. No chief minister would act in a way which would harm their own citizen or the citizens of their own state. I think it is only foolish to think that. It only exposes the mentality of the governor that he is inclined to BJP political ideology. He is taking side with the BJP political leaders rather than being neutral, which is expected of him from everyone in the state of Bengal.
Can I ask you, Shikha Mukherjee, Mamta Banerjee herself, this is her second term, she's hoping for a third. She came to power taking on the left, and she, was at that time seen as the victim. Has Mamta Banerjee in power been very different from Mamta Banerjee in opposition? Is it true that many of the left cadres have simply switched side to the TMC? Is it that you have to rule Bengal, you have to rule through this culture of violence now?
Mamta Banerjee promised Parivartan, if you recall, and one of the things which she said was that there would be there would be no revenge killings, there would be no revenge violence. That, of course, didn't quite work. I mean, she had Rabindra Sangeet played out on the streets of Calcutta to keep the peace. But at the end of the day, there is a culture of violence in this state, and Mamata Banerjee has succumbed to it. It's not that Mamata Banerjee
is it
was
succumbed? The point I'm trying to ask, is it now essential to rule Bengal? You have to rule through this culture of violence and terror. That's the only way to rule the state. Is that true?
I think that there is peaceful transition of power in Bengal. Let me put it this way: peaceful transition of power in West Bengal hasn't happened in the last 50 years. Preceding all transitions of power, there has been a sort of violence has peaked, and political clashes have peaked. The confrontation between the dominant party and the challenger has always exploded in violence. That seems to be the way in which West Bengal's politics operates. That transition of whenever there is a possibility of a regime change, there is a peaking of violence.
Which seems to suggest, therefore, with about 6 months to go for the Bengal elections, that if anything, we've only seen the trailer. And that is worrying.
Yes.
Because if this is what Bengal is going to see over the next 6 months, two well-organized armies in a way, the army of the opposition and the army of the BJP and the army of the Trinamool Congress, the confrontation in Bengal's killing fields, well, they could get bloodier. And that will not be a good sign for democracy. In a way, this is a moment for both to reflect, for the Trinamool and the BJP. Remember, many years ago, Gopal Krishna Gokhale said, what Bengal thinks today, India must think tomorrow. Surely this is not the Bengal of Rabindranath Tagore and all the greats of that state in the last century. Time to press the pause button. Thank all my guests. Thanks for joining me. That was the News Unlocked. The news without the noise. Bye for now.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.